My next guest says you are definitely what you eat, and eating healthy could lead to a more meaningful and longer life. Here is Preventive Medicine Research Institute President Dr. Dean Ornish joining us. Good to see you, Dean. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to see you, Maria.
I love some of the stats that you've come up with. You have been obviously doing this for a long time and have seen a real impact on a person's life and longevity based on what they eat and how much they exercise.
That's right.
Tell us about it.
What you eat, how much you exercise, how much love and support you have in your life, and how you manage stress. All of them are important. And you know, we tend to think of advances in medicine as being something really high-tech and expensive, but we're finding that these simple lifestyle changes can make a huge difference in not only how long we live, but also how well we live.
And it's interesting to note when you look at the $3 trillion in annual U.S. healthcare costs, more than 86% of those are pretty much from chronic diseases, those diseases that you can prevent and often even reverse. In our 38 years of research, we found that these simple lifestyle changes can actually reverse even severe coronary heart disease, can slow, stop, or reverse the progression of early-stage prostate cancer, can reverse type 2 diabetes, can even change your genes, turning on the good genes, turning off the genes that cause heart disease and prostate and breast and colon cancer. And most recently, we found that we could even begin to reverse aging at a cellular level by lengthening telomeres, the ends of our chromosomes, to control how long we live. That's so extraordinary. And I know that about 15 or 18 years ago, we as a country mapped the genome, and we have all this data to actually prove all of this. So some of the statistics included a 93% reduced risk of diabetes,
That's right.
an 81% lower risk of heart attacks, 50% reduction in the risk of stroke, and a 36% overall reduction in the risk of cancer.
That's right.
All of that can be declining just from behavioral changes?
That's right. And if we're going to deal with the $3 trillion that we spend every year on healthcare, which is mostly sick care, and as you say, if 86% of that is for chronic diseases that we can largely prevent or even reverse by changing lifestyle, then we can make better care available to more people at lower cost, and the only side effects are good ones.
And is this because we're learning so much more, and now we understand that heart disease is the biggest killer, and we understand that obesity causes heart disease? I mean, we've really learned a lot over the years.
We have, and there's a convergence of forces that finally make this the right idea at the right time. On one hand, the studies are showing that things like bypass surgery and angioplasties and stents don't work nearly as well as we once thought, but you can actually reverse it by changing lifestyle. You know, getting your blood sugar down with drugs doesn't work as well as getting it down with lifestyle. And so we're learning that, and at the same time that the limitations of high-tech approaches are becoming clear, the power of these very simple and low-tech lifestyle interventions is becoming clear. And as we move into the era of Obamacare, whatever you think about it, it's really turning all the incentives on their ears. So in a fee-for-service environment, the more operations you do, the more money you make. Here, the fewer that you do, the more money you make. So I began partnering with a company called Healthways, and we're training and certifying people around the country as part of a new paradigm of healthcare. And now that Medicare is covering my program, and most of the other insurance companies are as well, we can really create a whole new paradigm of healthcare that focuses on the underlying causes, which are really the lifestyle choices that people are making.
You have a book out called The Spectrum.
That's right.
Let me ask you about all the choices that people have out there, because there's soda and, you know, fast food and junk food. And you say you really want to stick to a plant-based diet.
To the degree you can move in that direction, there's a corresponding benefit at any age. You know, I used to think that the younger people who had less severe disease would do better, but the more you move towards a whole foods plant-based diet, and the more you exercise, and the more you meditate, and the more love and support you have, the better you feel and the better you are in all the ways we can measure.
It's very interesting that next week you're going to be going to the World Economic Forum in China, and you'll be presenting there. What are you presenting at this event, this to a country that is huge in terms of bad pollution in the air,
yes,
and that's killing them?
Well, not only the bad pollution, but, you know, the Chinese diet, heart disease used to be rare there in diabetes. Now they're starting to eat like us and live like us and all too often die like us. Heart disease and diabetes are now their #1 killers. So the World Economic Forum, I'm grateful to them. They've given me an hour each day of the conference to talk about our work to all the people that'll be there.
Dr. Craig Venter, who was among those who mapped the genome, told me that in the next 10 years, we will be living into our second century. Agree?
I think that's true. You know, I think that, again, we tend to think that I just have bad genes. What can I do about it? It turns out that when you change your lifestyle, you change your genes. And so even our genes can be changed if we make big enough changes in our lifestyle.
Wow. What's going to happen when we live till 150 and 200 years old? That has a lot of implications. Dr. Dean Ornish, good to have you on the show today.
Good to see you again.
Thank you so much.